Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Come on into Politi-tics. I'm your host, Jake Johnson. It's 3 days past the new year, and it's another white knuckle weekend here at Studio C. It's cold. The weather sucks. Traffic is terrible. How are you? What's going on in your neck of the woods? Amy's with us. She says Genesis 37:9. That's a good place to start. She says, and he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars, my brothers, made obsolete to me. Or made obsolescence to me. Same thing. Yes, the 11 brothers ended up bowing down to him, and he was the least of them. So he started out on the bottom and ended up on the top. That's a good place to be if you're in God's corner. But that journey from bottom to top was fraught with anything but comfort. Had no comfort in it. He started out being thrown in a hole and sold into slavery. Spent many years in prison, and then fought his way to the top of the chain gang, where he gained favor with the Pharaoh, and then eventually made friends with him. That's the only way he got out of jail, by deciphering a dream of his that he had already killed 3 people for not being able to do. And I guess he said, Joseph, that's who we're talking about. Joseph said, well, I'll either decipher the dream or get my head cut off, but I'm not staying another day in this prison. So he did. And he ended up running all of Egypt and saved them from a famine. You can too. If you put your nose to the grindstone, anything is possible. Lord have mercy, it looks like we're having internet issues again. I hope I'm coming through. I apologize if I'm not. Hello? I'm here? Okay. Joining me is the amazing Banhammer. Are you there?
I'm here.
All right. We're having bit stream issues. Reach over there and turn that laptop off if you can. Just hold the button down until it goes silent.
Okay.
Just press down on its neck until it quits wiggling and quits making noises. Maybe that'll help. I'll turn my phone off. Maybe that'll help. We just paid for this, by the way. There's absolutely no reason it shouldn't be functioning. I swear to God, we're going to have to abandon Brightspeed. Like we did Windows. I've abandoned Windows, by the way. If you want to follow me on that journey, I'll make videos about it. I'm going to Linux. It's a much better operating system. It's a little bit learning curve involved, but kind of worth it in the end. Amy says, there's a supermoon tonight, followed by a meteor shower. It'll be visible after midnight. Well, I will be asleep after midnight, but if it's visible, go out and check it out. Kevin Bernard, what's up, my brother? He says, hello, Jake, Amanda, and Amy. Nice to see you, my friend. Come on in, take your shoes off. Amy says, hello, Kevin, and hello, Jake and Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Kevin.
And Amy.
And Amy.
Amy says it'll be best visible after midnight. Right. Well, anytime space throws rocks at us, it'll be after midnight before you see it. Literally and metaphysically. Aaron says, cheating. What's up, Aaron? Nice to see you. You are not the father. I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend that you've been messing around. You're not the father.
He's a hoe.
You a hoe. Aaron says, I'm watching both of you closely now. How? With binoculars? Kevin says, hello, Aaron. And I'm going to lay down until this starts. I'm going to lay down until this starts. Well, you do that, buddy. I'll take my jacket off for you. It started, by the way, so get up. Amy says, how closely? Very closely, apparently. Are you like outside? Are you watching through the window?
Stalker.
Stalker. Amy says, enjoy that catnip, Kevin. Catnap, Kevin. I bought some catnip for my kittens. I guess I had that on the brain. They didn't care for it too much. One of them did. John Nuggets here. He says, good evening, everyone. I'm disappointed with Trump. Couldn't take Keir Starmer and Sadiq Khan with him as well. I know, right? One thing at a time, I guess. He was working on Venezuela, but he got him. He's got Maduro in cuffs and ready to face trial. And most especially, he's got him out of Venezuela. So hopefully Venezuela will course correct now and go back to the way they were before he took over. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if Trump and them are going to install somebody down there. I don't know how that's going to work out. It's really none of our business. But I guess more than we're aware, Venezuela affects America more than we're aware in their dealings. And hopefully this does something that benefits America. Otherwise, I'm glad they got a tyrant out of office. Maybe it's Maybelline. Hey, where's the gold star at, by the way? There it is. I'll get to it in just a second. Mabel says, ciao, everybody. Jake and Amanda, how are you? Hi. Curtsy. Nice to see you. Welcome to the show. Come on in. Take your shoes off. How are you? How's Hannah?
There she is, Miss Patty. Welcome back.
Hey, Patty. All right.
We've
I've
been
been
worried about
to
you.
death about you. All right. Amy, you get a gold star for being first in chat. Amanda?
Amy, here's your gold star. Hi, Amy, Kevin, Aaron, Nugget, Mabel, and Hannah.
Yeehaw.
And hi, Untethered Live.
Camel.
No.
Piggy.
No.
Monkey.
No. Froggy.
Froggy.
Hi, Untethered Live family. Good to see you all. Hope everyone is doing good. Hi, Jake. How are you tonight?
Froggy, apparently.
Clearly.
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm good.
It's a wonderful night. It's a great day to be alive, everybody. It's a great day for America, everybody. I'm not beating on my camera. Aaron says, hype Jake's video. Yes, please do. Thank you, Aaron. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box. But if you really want to show a little bit of love, you want to feed Jake, if you want him, you can do that at CashApp, $ Jake Johnson Band, or PayPal.me/Jake Johnson Band. And I really would appreciate it if you did. And all the other things too. All right. Aaron says, help them jump in the rotation, the videos. Yeah. I don't know that it does. I've never seen where it does, but I'll take your word for it. It's nice to get the hearts anyway. I like to see them float by.
After the video, when it puts comments up, you can go in there and there's a section where you can hype the video there too.
Yes, there is that. And Mabel says, Nugget, I am also very disappointed in Trump. He effectively invaded a country. I am curious to know how the Americans feel about it. Well, I don't, to be honest with you. I don't care. It's not my country.
I'm just glad he stopped all the fentanyl and stuff from coming over here from Venezuela.
We were having a problem with Venezuela. Let me explain what I know about Venezuela. And clearly, I'm not the authority on this subject. So don't get mad at me because I don't care either way. But from what I understand, in the 80s and 90s, Venezuela was killing it. I mean, they were rich as all get out. They were up at the top of the game. Their shelves were full. Their people were happy. There was pandemonium across the nation. And then this other guy comes in and brings communism with him. And when he does, within like a year, the shelves are empty and people are starving to death and they're trading gold for toilet paper effectively. And it got bad. It got real bad. And then on top of that, they've been selling fentanyl from Venezuela to America by way of some other country up the coast. That's what all those bombings about the boats were about. They were bringing fentanyl to, I guess, Mexico, somewhere up there. I'm not sure how that works. Or Florida, maybe. That's what all those bombings were about. And taking him down, yes, I'm a little disappointed that we're still involved in regime change. That is not our job. We're not the world's police. The whole reason we voted for Trump was because he ran on America first. That means close the borders, come into our country, and focus on us for a while. And let the world do their thing. Well, that's not going to ever happen because that's not what the world politics are about. And apparently, even if you're an outsider, you can't help but play the game because there's people above Trump too. I know you don't realize that. Most people don't realize that, but there are. And we don't know their names. But it seems like left wing, right wing, same bird. No matter who gets in office, the same shit's going to happen relatively. Might be a few differences on the fringes, but the main stuff is going to happen regardless. And apparently, this country's in the business of regime change, because that's what we do. We take over countries and we turn them, what? I don't know, democratic? Whatever you call it. I'm not real happy with that either. That being said, if it benefits America, I'll take it. I'll live with it. Because I have to live here. And what's above my pay grade is above my pay grade. I'll take it any way I can get it. And right now I'm starving to death, so if he can make us some money, let's do it. Metaphorically speaking. But that's how most of us feel about it. I'm a little disappointed in the whole way it's going to, and also his treatment of the Epstein files. It's not the Trump I voted for. That bullet might have been from somebody he knew. That's all I'm saying. What?
Nothing.
What are you smacking?
Nothing.
Say what you got to say.
No, go ahead.
What?
Nothing. You'll get to it when you get to it.
Okay.
I'm not even getting in it.
Okay.
It's all you tonight.
I'll handle it. Whatever it is. I don't see anything, but I'll take it. All right. Aaron says, helps them jump in rotation. This videos, yeah. Aaron says, I hope I don't pass out again. I don't feel so good. Is it still your tooth bothering you, buddy? I hope you don't pass out too. I hate that for you. You might need to go to the emergency room if you're having that much trouble. Mabel says, Aaron, are you okay?
Are you pregnant, Aaron?
I'm
Sorry you're not feeling good, man.
You are not the father. Aaron says, yes, I'm pregnant again, and I don't know who the mama is. Oh, no. That's terrible.
LOL, you dirty boy. I'm going to sign you up for Mari.
Aaron says, she was making bread, and then poof, I was pregnant. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeasty. Debbie, hello, darling. Debbie says, howdy all y'all. Pickle smiles to everyone. Congrats, Aaron, on the baby. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Mabel says, must have been some good bread. Must have been.
Oh, damn.
Aaron says, Mari's gonna be like, dumbass dudes can't get pregnant. You are not the mama. You are not the mama. No.
Hamburger helper hand, Debbie.
Hamburger helper, hamburger helper.
And well, nowadays, Mari might say anything, LOL.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aaron says, I'm very proud, Debbie. And Mabel says, unless Mari's a Democrat. Well, he did marry that chick from NBC with that Japanese chick or Chinese chick.
Connie Chung?
Connie Chung. I was thinking Laura Chin, but yeah, Connie Chung. Yeah, they're married. I don't know if they're still married. Maybe he wasn't the father. I don't know. But they did get married. So he's probably, yeah, very Democrat. I don't think you get that big in TV unless you're a Democrat. That's my guess.
Well, it was Mari, Jerry, and Montel and Steve that were all there together.
Steve, yep.
Steve used to be security for
Yep.
Jerry.
Jerry Springer, yep. And before that, it was Phil Donahue and Sally Jesse Raphael and Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake, yep. And the other girl.
Yep. And Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, and then
before that, it was Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, Steve Wilko's wife is the producer, one of the executive producers or one of the main producers of Mari, Jerry, and Steve.
Jerry's dead, so he's not making a show.
He is
anymore.
now, but that when all that stuff started, they were all in the same thing.
Oh, yeah. And before all of them, there was Dick Dietrich. Does anybody remember Dick Dietrich?
No.
Because that was the original Jerry Springer show. And matter of fact, I think Jerry took over for Dick Dietrich.
Never heard of him.
I think Dick Dietrich ran it for like a year, maybe 2 years, and then Jerry Springer came in and took over and turned it into the Jerry Springer Show. That's the way those things work. But I remember watching that show. It was a silly show, and all of the people in it were made up. It was real fake, like real fake. And Jerry Springer turned it into like fake real. So everybody believed it. Anyway, I remember that whole thing starting up. Mabel says, Aaron says, LOL, demo hat means a hat to destroy. If you take the C out of it, yeah. And the R. Mabel says, Hannah told me today that where they put the other opinion under gender, they should replace it with transformer. Robots in disguise. Smart girl. And what'd I say?
You said opinion. It's option.
Whatever. Same thing. And John says, thank you, Amanda and Jake, for the card. I got it today. And Amy, bless you. Much love. I'm sorry it got there so late. I've never mailed anything overseas before. Apparently, it takes a little longer than I thought it did.
Yeah. We
mailed it in time. It just took its sweet time getting there.
It's okay. He got it.
You got it. But it was supposed to be there before Christmas. I'm sorry. So your hoodie's going to be even later. But it's coming.
It took him about 2 weeks later than everybody else to get his card. So.
Yeah. I imagine it'll be the same way towards Canada, too.
Maybe. I don't know if Mabel and them have got their card yet.
I don't know. Probably. If he got it, they probably got it today, too. Debbie says, give the little yeasty feller a tap for me. Rub your belly and tell them that I cannot wait to meet him. Jesus. Gross. I like it. Here, little yeasty feller.
And you're welcome, Nugget. Sorry it was late.
Debbie says, oops, wrong kind of meat, Aaron. I do not want to eat the little yeasty feller. Well, maybe, if he washes it.
She doesn't want to eat it.
I mean.
Like a raw piece of meat.
Aaron says, he might just look Italian, just saying.
LOL, Mabel. She ain't wrong.
My chat jumped. Where am I at?
You are at 8:29. Amy's comment.
29. Yeah.
Hannah ain't wrong in her comment. They need to put Transformer there. I'm glad that they're taking the other option off the passports and all that, though.
Yeah. That's one good thing Trump has done. Put an end to all of that nonsense. Amy says, hey, y'all, how was your day? I made a loaf of bread today. Awesome.
Now the truth comes out.
A loaf of bread.
Aaron said that she was making bread and poof, he was pregnant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we see where this is going. Amy says, Amanda says.
Oh, damn, Debbie.
Debbie says, hi, Amy. I ate popcorn today. I ate an egg sandwich today. Mabel says...
And wild berry biscuits.
Amy made the bread. Yep, you got it. You put 2 and 2 together. Congratulations. Bob's your uncle, or whatever he's naming him.
Oh, damn, Amy. Aaron, Amy's the mama.
I'm afraid you're going to have to replace that heater with a fan. I'm dying over here.
Oh, my word.
I know I was freezing 5 minutes
You
ago.
are worse than somebody going through menopause.
I am going through menopause, apparently. Oh, sweating like a pig over here. Aaron says, Transformers, people in disguise. That's the new slogan. It's something. Aaron says, I feel that cool tasted funny. I tasted funny. I knew that cool tasted funny. I don't know what you're saying there.
Probably Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid? I knew that Kool-Aid tasted funny. Then maybe so. That makes sense. Here's the link to the chilling page if anybody wants to check it out. That's Untethered Live Chilling on Facebook. Facebook.com/UntetheredLive Chilling. Go check it out. It's a great place to share pictures, text, videos, memes, and chat and get to know one another and keep up with all things Untethered Live or adjacent to it. on a weekly basis. It's free. It's yours. It's available. Go check it out. All right. Aaron says, maybe it was the cookie lady. Linda, you got your fingers in this? Is Linda here?
Yeah.
Linda, you got your fingers in this?
He got him. They both got him pregnant.
Aaron says, I'll never tell. Shh.
Oh, so it's between Amy and Linda. You dirty boy. You's a hoe.
I never. I don't know what to do with you guys. Debbie says, it's a great day in Venezuela today. Apparently, they're all thanking Trump profusely. Apparently, they're happy with what he did. Apparently, they needed it. I don't know. I don't know anything about Venezuela until they come up in the news. I never hear anything about them in regular, everyday life. So I have no idea whether it's a good thing or not. But unlike everybody else on the internet, I'm not going to lie to you and make it sound like I know everything in the world and tell you that it's a bad thing because Trump did something I don't know about.
Or that it's about one thing and it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you up front. I don't know. Seems like a weird thing, but maybe there's stuff going on in Venezuela.
Well, I know Trump's been after Venezuela for a while for all the drug boats.
Yep. Aaron says, I wouldn't know. I live here. Right. And Linda says, hi, hey, Linda. Nice to see you, lady. Are your fingers in all of that business going on up there? Amy says, like, share, and invite some friends. Yes. Thank you very much, Amy.
Linda, hamburger helper hand.
Hamburger helper. Mabel says, if the properly elected president is transferred power, then yes, it is a good day. But I have my doubts considering Trump stated the Americans would run the country. Yeah, I don't think we should be running anybody else's country. That's my opinion. Maybe it's not a popular one. I'm not a Republican, so I don't care. But I think we should worry about our country. And I think that's where the line should end. I don't care about what other countries do until they affect us. Now, there is something to say about that. If what Venezuela is doing is negatively affecting our country, then absolutely our president has a right to get involved and to do something about it. If it is not, he should mind his own business and stay at home. That's my opinion. But I'm not the guy to make that call because I'm a peon. He's the president, so I'm sure he knows more than I do about it. And in this case, I will defer to grumble about things I know nothing about and allow him to make the decisions he makes for our country and hope for the best. If gas prices come down and money gets easier to make, yay, Trump.
Let's say we're sitting at less than $2.40 a gallon here, so.
Yeah. But at this time of the year, I'd liable to follow a Democrat if they promised me some money. Amy says, hi, Linda. And Aaron says, is it supposed to be a circle of death spinning? That one? No. What are we talking about?
That was earlier when you were talking about the internet.
Oh, it's still going bad. I'm at current status. I wonder.
Is your other computer off?
Did you turn it off?
I turned this one off. Is the one you were working on in there off?
That's the one.
Oh, yeah, it's off.
All right. It shouldn't be pulling any internet anyway, but it's off, so it shouldn't be mattering. Let me check one thing real quick. I might can do something, I don't know. Output. No, I'm already at 2,000 bits per second. That's pretty low. I'll drop it to 1,500. I don't want to go any lower than that. And then I start sending out cartoons. And where am I at in the chat?
You are at 8:36.
Well, my chat just vanished, so hang on, give me a second. Got to come back. 8:36.
Aaron's comment. The second Aaron's
Live
comment at
chat.
8:36.
I can only go back to 8:40. Patty says, Happy New Year. Hello, Patty. We've been worried to death about you. How are you? Are you okay? We've been missing you. Aaron says, welcome home, Patty. And Linda says, Patty, is that you? Don't even recognize you. Yeah, we're definitely still skipping. I'm sorry, fellas. It's the best I can do. Internet sucks. Aaron says, uh-oh. Amy says, oh, I read that wrong, Aaron. You're sitting in the garden, and I misread that as you were in the garden. All right, so I'm there. So can you read what I missed?
What time was that?
That is 8:41. You said I went back to 8:36.
Yeah, 8:36. Aaron's comment was Idaho, Amanda. I said, yep, Idaho, Aaron. Aaron says, yes, Amy, that one, talking about the circle of death. Aaron says, sits in the garden and waits like a good man. I'm going to behave. Hi, Bill Bennett. Bill Bennett says, hello, all. Amy says, like the Cheshire cat. I've seen eyes and teeth. And Debbie says, REO Speedwagon reference, be careful, I might fall in love.
Yeah.
Amy says, hi, Bill. Hamburger helper hand, Bill. Amy says, I heard it was illegitimate president, the Venezuela president.
Yes. Maduro is his name.
Nugget says, hi, Patty, Happy New Year. Amy says, hi, Patty, we missed you. And Patty says, thank you for that warm welcome. I think I've caught back up to you.
All right, give me just 1 second.
You said 8:41, right?
Yeah, but I had to redo the thing again, so let me see where I'm at. Top chat. Go back to live chat. This is aggravating.
Amy says, hey, Big John, I'm glad you liked the card. Aaron says, Patty the legend.
Patty is a legend.
Patty says, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Aaron says, welcome home, Patty.
8:41.
Patty, is that you, says Linda.
Where are you at now?
I am at 8:41. Aaron, uh-oh.
Amy says, hey, Glitter Grounds. GG. Kissy face. John says, Amy made it. Amy made my day. The only 2 cards I got for Christmas.
Aw.
You know, and I'm glad you got something for Christmas, buddy. I love you. Mabel says, do you not think that if drugs was the true purpose, Trump would have targeted Mexico? And Trump has made it very clear he wants the oil. Well, again, there's 2 things I got to say about that. Number 1 is, yeah, but Mexico has an army. Venezuela doesn't. Not one that we're worried about. Number 2, oil. So, yeah, I'm sure drugs are the reason to go get the oil. Trump is a businessman. He's not going to do anything that he doesn't gain from, right? So there's obviously more than one play on the table. That's the way I'm reading it. And it might be oil, but obviously he's using the drug war as a reason to do it. But there's plenty of oil. Remember, I told you a few minutes ago that Venezuela was a rich as hell country just a few years ago, like in the 90s. Rich as hell, like on top of the world rich, like land of flowing milk and honey rich. Everybody driving Ferraris and shit. And now it's like picking bones off of chickens to stay alive, like my house. So, you know, yeah, it might be that. But I don't know what I could do about that. I didn't pick the people that ran for president. I just picked the best one of the 2. I still believe he's the best one of the 2. He may not be the best one of the world, but he's the best option we had. But again, my vote didn't make him president. My vote just contributed to it. So I see where your anger is, and I see your point. But I don't know that there's anything that we could do about it. That's the way it is, you know. Amber says, hearts and stars and hearts and prayers. Hey, Amber. Happy New Year. John says, hi, Amber, heart. Amber says, Nugget, may I have your address? I'll happily glitter love you. Aw. Well, if you want to give her your address, please do it on Facebook.com/UntetheredLive, chilling in the group chat. That's where you can do that at, and it's safe. Don't give it on this chat because it's bad. Or give your email address and email her somehow. That's the best I can do for you. Or I can pass it to her if you give me permission to. But don't do it in live air. I don't want people knowing where you live.
If I'm not mistaken, Nugget's address is already in the chat.
It might be.
I think it is. I think it's in the chat up towards the top.
Amber, go check out the group chat and see if Nugget's address is there. Amy says either fentanyl or the precursors for it. It needs to be stopped. Every 5 minutes, someone is poisoned from that stuff. This is true. But see, here's the problem with fentanyl. It ain't just coming from Venezuela. It's coming from China by way of Venezuela and by way of Mexico and by way of Canada even. And probably some other places. Probably we make it here. I don't know.
Well, they're sending all the chemicals all different directions to get back to here.
So stopping it's like putting your finger in a dam when it's breaking, you know. That might plug that hole, but there's one going to appear over here. And you might be able to reach it, but then there's one going to appear over there, and you're out of hands, you know. I don't know that can be stopped. It's like the Pandora's box kind of thing.
Well, but you can damn sure put a dent in it.
Fab Daddy says, it's all about the oil, not drugs.
Of course not.
Fab Daddy. Number one, it's always about the oil.
He was blowing up boats hauling oil, not drugs.
Right. Those oil carrying boats were awful small, so they weren't bringing a whole lot of oil in. They were John boats.
With 3 or 4 300-horse motors across the back of them. For what?
So, yeah, it's always about the oil, obviously. I mean, the dollar is on the petrol dollar.
You may be stuck.
Oh, I'm definitely stuck. I just don't know what I can do about it.
Oh, just wait a
minute.
minute.
They just kicked me out, so.
Did it really?
Okay, so I'm here. I just can't see anything on my end. I'll refresh my browser. Maybe that'll do it. I apologize, guys. I'm so sorry. I swear to God I paid my internet bill. I think they're screwing with me. I really do. This is what censorship looks like. Because I say the truth. People don't like the truth. There's some good points raised a minute ago. I do apologize. I will not get to read them.
I can run through them.
Okay, please do.
Let's see. Aaron says, sitting in the garden today, watching time roll away, sitting in the garden, wasting time. Amy says, Amber, your card would have to go through international customs. Fab Daddy Hamburger Helper Ham. Bill Bennett says, not our business. I think VP is going to take over. It's a woman that she will do whatever she wants. The woman said she will do whatever she wants. Talking about Venezuela, I'm assuming. Nugget says, Amber, I don't want the FBI knocking at my door.
Me neither.
Amy says, hi, Fab, and LOL, Aaron. Amber says, John said, Nugget says, Amber, our Facebook it, thumb up. Okay. Hold on a minute. I'm trying to do this without my chat jumping.
Yeah, I can't tell you where you're at.
Yeah, just chillax. I got to do this without my chat jumping.
I'm at 910 on the new chat.
Amber says, Nugget, no comment. I have a reputation. Mabel says, I honestly think it's creating more enemies for Americans and also provoking the ones that already have and had to blatantly declare you are going to take oil as a reinvestment. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, such is the way countries are ran.
Bill Bennett says, here in Indy, our ER won't do shit for a toothache. Fab Daddy says, happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday, Fab Daddy.
Ninja Rider, what's up, brother? He said, hell ho, let's go fast.
Nice to see you.
Ninja says, if I win the lotto, I'm buying everyone a brand new Kawasaki Ninja.
Excellent. Well, you could just pop $5 in the chat. That'd be nice.
Debbie says, President Trump had every right to use military as police against Maduro. Maduro was warned, and just like in Africa, the people wanted it.
Well, there you go. What do you do when the people reach out and ask for help?
Bill says, at least in Richmond, no dentist on duty.
Right, but they got rich men north of Richmond, though. So some ginger said.
Yeah, I said Ninja Hamburger Helper Hand. Mabel says, yes, Bill, that female is the person Venezuela actually voted for, but Trump stated he doesn't have confidence in her. Amber got the surprised heart look. Aaron says, Bill, they consider it surgery now. It's the same here. They give you pain meds and antibiotics and say go to the dentist, and the dentist says you need orthodontic surgery, so you have to schedule. Amy says, R.I.P. It was Jerry Springer that passed away.
Jerry Springer died a while back.
Yeah, Amber Grounds says hearts and expressed face. Bill Bennett says, Dr. Phil is normal. Aaron says, my tooth been bad for 2 months and the loop holder BS. And then when you finally get to talk to someone, they want to charge you the sink, the moon, have your mom's leg, and 2 buck cheeks.
Oh, yeah. It's expensive.
Amy says, hi, Ninja. I want a pinstripe on mine, please, and thank you.
Did you have a good New Year's Eve, Ninja? Has Patty said anything, or she just pop in?
She's in.
Okay.
Amy says, that's true, Bill. IU has a monopoly on healthcare. I hate it. Indiana University.
Yeah.
Mabel says, Debbie, he broke international law. Regardless of the tyrant Maduro, Trump invaded a country and captured Maduro. This is no better than Putin invading Ukraine.
I can't disagree with that.
Fab Daddy says, this attack in Venezuela reminds me of Iraq War all over again. As soon as heard Trump declare fentanyl weapon of mass destruction, I knew it was about oil and not the drugs.
Well, maybe you should run for president then, Fab, but you do it just right. And the people in the dark suits would definitely not threaten your life and make you do what they want you to do.
Debbie says, we'll have to disagree on that, Mabel. Mabel says, and they stated that this war in the works for months. They had this plan before any peace deals or anything were offered.
I don't know about that. They say a lot of things. I try to stick with what I can see and what there's evidence in front of me to verify. But they say a lot of things, and on both sides, both directions. So I try to stay away from those kind of thoughts, and I would encourage you to do the same, because those things are designed to get your cuckles up, and they do. It works. Look at Fab Daddy. He listens to them, and he goes all half-cocked at me about what he thinks is right. And he hadn't even stopped to consider I have no control over it. I'm not the guy. I'm just a talk. That's all I do is talk. But nonetheless, I can't disagree with that. It is invading another country. I don't know the parameters of that and the reasoning for it. But I will tell you that if it benefits America, I'm on board, because that's how countries are formed. They get conquered. They have been since the beginning of time, and they will continue to be. Pretty soon, we'll either become dominant or start speaking German, one or the other, or Chinese. That's just the way of countries. Always has been, always will be, and we're not going to stop it, no matter how much we protest.
Amber says, I got my card, Washington State. Amy says, ding, chicken wings are done.
Nice.
Mabel says, I will have to ask Madison the address I gave you is hers because she lives in town.
All right.
Aaron says, Fab, coming with it tonight. Fab coming with it tonight. I like it. Let the debate begin.
That's right.
Miss Patty says, I can't think of any better and clever idea, Fab Daddy.
That's right. Hey, Fab Patty, where you been? What you been up to?
Amy says, hi, Mabel and Hannah. How's the Lego build coming along?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Nice.
Mabel says, yes, Fab, or Vietnam. Mabel says, Amy, she is almost done with the first one she got. Debbie says, there is no direct military attack that could categorically be labeled as a violation of international law.
Well, international law is made by the people that run countries in their interest. So everything every president of every country does is a violation to the person they're doing it to. And that all gets worked out in The Hague anyway, so. Again, it's above our pay grade.
Amy says, wake up, St. Bernard.
St. Bernard.
Mabel says, Debbie, the strikes carried out as well as American soldiers having boots on the ground, special forces that captured Maduro. That's absolutely direct military action and absolutely a violation.
A violation to who, though?
International law, I guess.
Who operates international law?
Mm.
How can that be rectified? Who's going to come handle that and make it just? I'm just asking because I don't know the answer to that.
Amy says it could be twin loaves, talking about Aaron's twins. Aaron getting pregnant on loaves of bread.
Are your twins speaking there, Aaron?
Linda says, nope, it wasn't me. I'm in bed sick.
I'm sorry.
Amy says, oh, I hope you feel better soon, Linda.
Me too.
I said, oh, no, Linda, feel better, hon.
Everybody's feeling bad this time of year.
I know.
I'm sorry, guys.
Aaron says, sad face.
You are in our prayers.
Nugget says, Iran is about to fall to riots for 7 days straight. Every village and town and some cities.
Who said that?
Nugget.
Okay.
Mr. P, good evening.
Mr. P.
Mr. P, hamburger helper hand. Amy says, hype the video, y'all. Let's get it out there. It's free.
Hype.
Fab Daddy says, America broke it. Now we own it.
America broke what, Fab Daddy?
What do we do now? It is of the most important aspect.
What? Could you clarify what you're talking about there, Fab Daddy? What did America break?
I'm assuming
and what is
international
important? Are you talking about international law? Because no, America does not operate international law. That would be The Hague and probably the World Economic Forum or something like that. Some agency, 3-letter agency that we don't know the names of the people who play that game. I'm telling you, the people that you see are the faces of the people you don't see. You may believe me or you may not, but the president is not the guy in charge. He's the face of the guy in charge. He's the spokesman, the front man. It's a 4-piece band. Only one guy's in the front. You get it?
Amy says, hi, Mr. John F., a.k.a. Mr. P. Mr. P says, how do you hype for free? It always asks me for money. You press the hearts on the bottom of the right screen.
You could just give some money. No, I'm just kidding. Just hit the heart.
Mabel says, I just cannot get with the it's war on drugs take when the country right on the border of America would have made way more sense in that war.
Yeah, it would. You're absolutely right about that. And if I'm not mistaken, we've done some inruns at Mexico, too. We just hadn't gone to war with them or bombed them yet.
No, because they get scared and give in.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Bottom
line is, if Trump threatens you and you capitulate, he doesn't bomb you.
Debbie says, again, Mabel, we will have to disagree on that. Mabel,
and that's okay. That's what tonight's for.
Yes. Mabel says, there is no disagreement, Debbie. The law is the law. That is not an opinion. We disagree with the reasons and whatnot, yes, but international law is clearly defined.
By whom?
Aaron says, ask Chicago how they get drugs. Trust me, they made it here.
Right.
Amy says, China is also involved in sending that poison into this country. Yeah,
right.
they go from this waterway to that waterway to this waterway to the United States.
But some of those countries are our allies, and it's not in our interest to attack them, so we attack the ones that we can attack. If you attack China, trade route goes to crap. That no president in their right mind is going to do that.
Debbie says, and President Trump did not break international law. Fab Daddy says, Trump doesn't follow the law. I hope we all know that by now.
What law has he not followed there, Fab Daddy?
Mabel says, yes, he very much did. I'm sorry.
What law? What law did he break?
That's
what I want to know.
He absolutely broke international law.
Which international law? What law, letter of the law, did he break?
Aaron says, military man stands up and claps. Amy says, the prosecutors are being brought into domestic manufacturing from the smuggled ingredients.
Right.
Debbie says, yes, he does, Fab. If he demonstrates, if the Democrats can follow the spirit of the law, so can Republicans.
Exactly. Again, I'm asking what law? Because I keep hearing law has been broken, but what law are we discussing?
Mr. P says, China weaseled their way into Panama. Russia just plain invaded Ukraine. This is the big three grabbing their territory and resources. Venezuela has 1 trillion crap tons of oil.
China did not weasel their way into Panama. They outright took it over because we sold it to them.
And Debbie says, no, he didn't, Mabel. No, he did not, Mabel.
Panama was sold to China for $1 under
Carter.
Peanut Guy, Carter. And so Trump decided in his wisdom that that was a stupid thing to do, being that Panama is our main port of entry in that part of the world. And he took it back. I don't disagree with that. Now, you can say that that was illegal. You could say that that was an act of aggression. I agree with you. But I also agree that that silly president shouldn't have sold that part of our world for $1. And we didn't get anything out of it and didn't even get the dollar. So Trump foreclosing on it made sense to me. Same thing with changing Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. Made sense to me. Now, if he broke law to attack Venezuela, I'm interested in what law. I don't know the law, so I can't formulate an argument unless I know which law he broke.
All right, well, it's in the new chat, so let's get through the old chat. We're about through it, I think.
All right, go ahead.
Aaron says, prove it. Fap Daddy says, his administration breaks the law every day. Epstein files aren't released. Fab Daddy says, Congress shall make laws, president sign or veto, and the Supreme Court determines if the law follows the Constitution.
Correct.
Mr. P says, I've since stepped away, backed off Trump's boat. Seriously, have some crazy BS going on that makes no sense at all anymore.
He's definitely done some things that I don't agree with. But then again, I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything, and I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt because everything else he did in good faith. That being said, when it all shakes out and I see that what he did was wrong, then I'll call him on it. But until then, I'm going to hold my tongue because I don't know what law he broke. And I'd like to know. And also, hold on, I'm not done. The president makes the law of this country. If he's the president, then he makes the law. And the Supreme Court upholds it or turns it down. And they are the only people that can. Congress verifies the law, codifies it. The Supreme Court decides whether or not it's legal. They are there for that reason. And if it's legal, it ain't breaking the law. I don't care how much you disagree with it. If they agree with it, it's the law. So I'm interested in what law he broke and who says it's against the law.
Mr. P finishes and says, I can do my own research. I don't need left or right telling me my news.
Right on.
Debbie says, Fab, President Trump signed either it was an executive order or a law for the release. Look it up. A Democratic appointed judge stopped it, and Biden had 4 years. Why did he not release it?
Right. What are we talking about again?
Epstein file.
Epstein file. We're back on that.
Yeah, because Trump is violating law because he didn't release the Epstein file.
Yeah, well, I agree with that also. And that's one of the things that I can say I don't agree with Trump on because he said he would release those files, and he did not.
Well, he did, but a judge stopped him.
Right. Well, it is the judge's fault that they're not being released. But he's the president. He could put that judge out of a job.
And the funny part about it is it's a Biden judge. But anyway.
They all are.
Yeah.
The ones that are fighting to keep this secret are all Democrats.
It's because they're all in it.
Yes.
Aaron says, oh, man. I said, we lost the internet. Debbie says, H.R. 4405, Epstein Files Transparency Act. Now, why are the Democrats stopping it?
Okay, to be clear, the law I was asking about was the international law that Trump apparently broke to attack Venezuela. I want to know what that law is.
It's in the new chat.
Okay.
We're almost through with this
one. All right, go ahead.
Aaron said, sorry, Amanda. I said, we're going to start a new one. Aaron says, how do you guys learn all this stuff? Fab Daddy says, who, Debbie? And Patty says, we said way too much. I said, look for the new stream. It'll be up in a minute. Now, go to the new one.
All right, the new one starts at 9:10 with Fab Daddy saying 2 gold stars. Thank you, Fab Daddy. I'm trying. I'm sorry the internet crapped out on us. It's still giving me a warning sign, but it looks like it's barely hanging on there, so we'll keep going as hard as we can. Please do like, subscribe, share, support, and support the show if you can. We need it. It is a rough time of year, and we are white-knuckling it through the weekend, so if you can give, please do, and if you don't, that's fine too. But back to the great conversation at hand. The question is, What international law did Trump break, and is there any reprieve to that law? Is there any reason why he can legally get away with what he did? We will look into it, and we will come to a consensus one way or the other. Mabel says, damn it, Fab beat me, smiley face. And I said, I'll be back in a minute, so sorry. Fab Daddy says, sorry, Mabel, but gold stars go to non-mods. So you're it. No backsies. Yep, you get the gold stars. If you're a moderator, you don't get a star. That's true. Aaron says, is this the new one? This is the new one. And Amanda says,
I'm trying to get over there. I've got too many things going here.
Amanda says, a gold star to Mabel. Fab Daddy says, yes. Amber says, hamburger upper hands all over the place. John says, here. Thank you guys for coming back. Bill Bennett says, guess who's back again? Mr. Jake. Thank you, Bill. How you doing, buddy? Amber says, surprise faces and hand faces. And Ollie Oxenfree with a cool smiley face. Nugget says, you're live. We see you. Excellent. Just barely, though. I'm still hanging in there. I hadn't stopped yet. Fab Daddy says, running good on my side. Excellent. X. All right. Amber says, I see you. I see you great. Amber says, and I hear you great. Excellent. Good. Maybe it'll stay that way. I had to reset the internet, reboot it, and then reset up another live stream. So it's aggravating. I can tell you that. Bill Bennett says the elites don't want truth to come out. This is true. Mr. P says, we're back. Hey, Mr. P, nice to see you, brother. Bill Bennett says, Vice President of Venezuela said she will do whatever we want, or we will do whatever we want, LOL. Well, apparently not. Amber says, I'm thinking coffee. Coffee sounds like a great idea. And Fab Daddy says, coffee and weed. There's a country song in there somewhere. Amber says, friends, roll call style. Amy says, I'm back. My internet dropped, and when I finally got it, the show was gone. Because my internet dropped too, but I'm back too. I'm glad you're here. I apologize for the inconvenience and the jumping around. I really am going to lay into Brightspeed this week. I have paid my bill. There is no reason I shouldn't be getting the internet that I was promised. Fab Daddy says, amazing job, Amanda. Yes, thank you, Amanda, for rushing through that.
Thank you.
And Mabel says, I'm only being vocal because it's Politi-tics night. That's fine. That's what you're supposed to do, and thank you for playing along. Again, I'm asking a legitimate question. I'm not mad at anybody. What law did Trump break?
It's in there, and I'm putting the rest of the law in the chat now.
Okay. Aaron says, thumbs up and one of those. What do you call that anyway? Is there a name for that other than Dorito hands?
It's a
chow baby.
Yeah.
Fab Daddy says, I'm not going after you, Jake. It's not that kind of debate. I just give my opinions, but you know we differ. Yes, I do, and that's fine. I'm not going after you either. I'm just standing my ground. And again, I asked the question, where did he do something that was wrong or legally wrong? Because from the way I read it, the president makes the law. That's why I asked who makes the international law and who polices it, who is responsible for making it what it is. Bill Bennett says, the great USA does whatever the F it wants. Not right, but true. Is true. NATO, which we control, says Bill Bennett. And there's an answer right there. NATO is the one that writes down what the international law is, and the Supreme Court verifies it. Now, if Trump writes a law that operates contrary to the international law, if the Supreme Court verifies it, then it is the law. Therefore, not breaking the law. I know that feels wrong, but that is the way it works. UN Charter handles international laws. The UN, NATO, whatever you want to call it. I know there's two different things, and I may have said NATO when I meant UN, but you get the point. Mabel says, it won't be rectified. It never is. But without international law, countries would be invaded all of the time. They are invaded all the time. It is less about the law and more about what happens next. I agree with that. I do agree with that. But countries are invaded all the time. That's how countries become countries. This country started out with a bunch of Indians on it. And then we invaded it and took it over. Now there's a bunch of Americans on it, which came from all the other countries. Right? There is a difference between immigrating and migrating. There's a difference. These were settlers, not immigrants. It's a different thing. The difference is they built everything that's here. Immigrants don't. They just assimilate. That's the difference. But there is a difference. Now, the Indians were here, but they took it from somebody before them. And they were warring amongst themselves the whole time. It was not a peaceful transfer of power. Every other country has a similar story that got them where they are today. Except for Israel. They've been here since the beginning for some strange reason. Everybody else has had to fight for what's theirs. They don't make it right, but that is the way the world works. John says, Nugget says, Venezuela are cheering in the streets now. I've watched it live. Yeah, they're very happy of what Trump did. So Venezuela's not against it. So, technically speaking, Trump did not hurt Venezuela by doing what he did. He helped them. He liberated them. Amy says, I don't necessarily agree with the various opinions given, but I strongly agree that every side should be heard. Right on. And the law number is 8765309. I think that's Jenny's number.
Well, Mabel put the law in there, and then further down in the chat, I put the full law in there so you could read it.
All right. It's Article 2, Paragraph 4 of international law prohibits the use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. Let me look into that. I'll read the law, and then we'll talk about it. John says, Venezuela is free now and not under a dictatorship. I agree with that. Amy says, please double tap the screen to like the video. Yes, if you're on a phone, double tap. If you're on a computer, hit the thumbs up. Bill Bennett, thank you, Amy. Bill Bennett says, congressional approval for our continent. Even international waters, we have jurisdiction to act. To, etc. We have jurisdiction to, etc. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I have to look into that. Amy says, share and hype the live stream. Thank you, Amy. Bill Bennett says, include South America. Supposed to be equal branches who gave the Supreme Court final say. Well, it's co-equal branches, and they have a job to do. And what they are, the Supreme Court is a bench full of lawyers who are very well versed in the Constitution. And their job is to uphold the Constitution that was ratified so many years ago. So the way our country works is there's two sides to the House, there's two sides to the Senate, and then there's two sides to the President. And there's one side to the Supreme Court, which is made up of two sides. But they work in unison. So, either the president writes a law and hands it to Congress, or Congress writes a law and hands it to the president. Either way, if the president writes a law, the Congress has to ratify it. And then the Supreme Court has to agree on it. If it's the other way around, Congress writes a law and the president can either agree with it or veto it. And that means it kicks it down the road to the next president. And that's it. That's how that works. But ultimately, the Supreme Court has to say, yeah, this is constitutional, or no, that's not constitutional. If it is constitutional, it goes forward and becomes law. Now, there's a third option, and that is the executive order. As long as the president is the president, whatever he writes down in an executive order is legal until he's no longer president. And then it's still legal until the other president kicks it down. He can either leave it in place or kick it down. If he leaves it in place, it's legal. Period. Until another president comes, and he'll either leave it in place or kick it down. That's how executive orders work. And I'm not sure, but I think they have a lifespan. It may be so many years and then they go away. I don't know how that works. But that is the case. If it's an executive order, as long as he's the president, it's the law. So there's that. And you can bet your ass that he covered his. So if he did something, he's got documentation in works that says he can do it. I promise you that. I don't know anybody that wants to go to jail. Amy says, share and hype the video. Bill Bennett says, include Southern. I read all this. Here we go. Fab Daddy says, Bill, is Article 3 of the Constitution? I think it's Article 3. Well, what are you talking about? Do you know what Article 3 is? I guess I need to get a copy of the Constitution so we can go through it, huh? Bill Bennett says, what is Article 3? LOL. Right. And Fab says, I could be wrong. Well, unless you know what Article 3 is, you are wrong. Bill Bennett says, I'm just babbling. Ha ha ha. Fab Daddy says, the Articles of the Constitution determine how America shall be ran. It defines the 3 branches and appears before the Bill of Rights. Well, I just told you what the 3 branches were, and I'm correct. So, if it says that, then yes. Man, y'all gonna make me work for it tonight. Amy says, they were talking about the one world government. Funny it could backfire on them and be the USA. Could be, huh? Debbie says, Mabel, for what I have read and heard, it has to do with humanitarian aid, and that is the spirit of the law. And at the end of the day, the people of Venezuela wanted it, and they never voted in Maduro. He took Venezuela by force. Well, there you go. So in essence, what he's doing is aiding Venezuela and getting rid of their tyrant, not attacking Venezuela, as we're being led to believe that that's what's happening. It's actually the other way around as far as that looks from what that statement just says. Amanda says, Article 2, Paragraph 4 of the United Nations Charter is the core rule of modern international law, prohibiting UN member states from the threat or use of force against another state territorial integrity or political independence, or in any way inconsistent with UN purposes, with exceptions for self-defense. Article 51 and the Security Council Authorization, Chapter 7. This fundamental principle aims to prevent war, but its interpretation and operation is complex, with states frequently debating its scope and violation occurring, such as recent articles against Ukraine. Yeah, that will make a big dent right there. All right. So you've got self-defense, and you've got the different factions arguing whether or not that article is saying what it says, and whether or not it applies to what they're doing. So that is not at all clear by any stretch of the imagination. And what I read there, based on what I've heard so far, is that according to Venezuela, they wanted Maduro gone, and Trump obliged them by taking him out. He may have put forces on the ground, but he did it in self-defense of Venezuela. according to what I've just heard. Now, it remains to be seen whether that's factually correct or not, but that's what it sounds like. Where are we at here? Aaron says, chef's kiss.
Did you read the ones in between those?
I read the one where Debbie says took Venezuela by force.
There's one,
Yeah.
Amy says, they were talking
Yes,
about.
I read that one too.
And the Mabel, for what I have read.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I read those. Were you not listening?
I was looking up something else, so no, I didn't hear that
All
part.
right. Bill Bennett says Article 51 probably gave the authority, but just a babble. I have not done my research. Well, there you go. I haven't either. And again, I'm not the authority on this subject, nor is it my job to say what's right or wrong. I'm just giving my opinion based on what I'm hearing. But that's not going to go into law, though. So at the end of the day, this is just a fruitful exercise and good conversation. That's it. Bill Bennett says Congress makes the laws. Sometimes. Sometimes the president makes the law, but the Congress has to ratify it. Sometimes the Congress makes the law, but the president has to veto it or agree with it. Either way that goes, the Supreme Court has to verify it and agree whether or not it's legal. And then it becomes law. That's the whole point. And then the fourth branch of the government, our media, spins up narratives like crazy to get all of us fighting about what's right, which is what we're doing right now. Good job, media. Bill Bennett says, you need to listen to the true meaning of Thanksgiving by the great Rush Limbaugh. I have heard it. And Amy says, R.I.P. Rush Limbaugh. R.I.P. Rush Limbaugh. It was a good voice. A good conservative voice. I pale in comparison to him. Fab Daddy says, for Americans, not the world, the United Nations is the body that tries to maintain global order. Yeah. For Americans, not the world. Amy says, remember how they reacted, Bill, when Rush died? It was disgusting, similar to the way they acted when Charlie Kirk died. It was demonic. Well, there's your answer right there. If you really want to know the truth, remember I told you there were people above the president? They are the demonic forces that are pushing all of those things in the world. So all of war, all of conflict is demonic. All of backbiting, all of politics, in and out, people going against each other, people jugging each other. It's all demonic. That's what that is. Since the beginning of time, our civilization has had both good and bad forces pushing and pulling on it from every direction throughout the ages. And the evidence of that is clear in the way people act. Bill Bennett says, Biden's black woman he appointed to the high court, you think she has the Constitution at heart? I do not. Are you talking about Ketanji Brown Jackson? I don't think it has anything to do with her color. I think it has to do with her lack of education and willingness to go along with the narrative. But no, I don't think she has the Constitution at heart. I think she is one of the players that are involved in subverting the law rather than following it. I don't think anybody is following the letter of the law according to the way it was drawn up by our forefathers. I think our forefathers would be rolling over in their graves if they saw what we did with the Constitution that they crafted. Mabel says, as I said, it's less about the law and more about what happens next. If the rightly elected president is transferred power, then this is good. If Trump decides to take control of Venezuela, then it is wrong. Well, you are correct, and he absolutely should not do that. I don't know why anybody thinks he would do that. I've seen no evidence that he's planning to or has made any inruns towards doing that. But one of the left's favorite talking points is that Trump is not going to concede power. He's going to take over and be president forever. He's going to be the new king. We've had no king's protests, and he already was the president, and he already gave up power when he lost, and he didn't lose. That was totally cheated. But he won. But because America saw it as he lost, he gave up his power when it was time, and he wasn't even late in doing so. And he will do so again when his time runs out. I don't think that's going to happen. But you're absolutely right. If he tries to take over another country and run it, that is absolutely wrong. But I haven't seen him trying to do that. Bill Bennett says, hold on. Somewhere.
9:42.
Okay. Bill Bennett says the president doesn't have the final say, and I'll be quiet. I have no damn clue what I'm saying. Sorry. Don't worry about it, Bill. You have every right to talk as everybody else does. And Amy says Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yes, that's the one. Mabel says, actually, it would be really interesting on some Politi-tics nights to read the laws and become more educated about law together as we do with the Bible. It would be fun and beneficial for us all, and I'm not opposed to doing that. That's a great idea, Mabel. That's a great idea. Maybe we'll start doing that. Maybe we'll have a Constitution night, a Bill of Rights night. Amanda says,
Nope, you got like 3 or 4 things to read there.
oh, you want me to read your
Oh,
comment?
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a long one.
Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution establishes the judicial branch, creating a Supreme Court and empowering Congress to establish lower federal courts, defining their jurisdiction over federal laws. Right on.
9:43 is the next one.
Nugget says, they will be appointing a new president soon, but it may take time in Venezuela. It might. But as long as they got the guy they didn't want running by force out of there, then I'm happy with that. Bill Bennett says, can we change the subject? LOL. Well, it's political night, but you can talk about whatever you want. Yes, you can change the subject. Fab Daddy says, Bill, supposedly, we the people have the final say. Oh, I forgot. That's the Mrs. Always gets the last word. Yeah, we the people do not have the final say, nor have we ever. That is the way that the documents are drawn up, but we've given up too much of that power, thanks to being snowed and gaslit into giving up all of our rights, such as the Patriot Act and things like that, which happened under Republican watch a while back. So no, we don't have a right. The best that we can hope for is to stay out of the eye of Sauron and not get put in jail for being too independent or too rich. One thing I've learned about this world is you can't get too big, because if you get too big, somebody's going to take you out. That's just the way it is. Ask Charlie Kirk. All right, continuing. Defining their jurisdiction over federal laws and disputes, and ensuring judicial independence through life tenure and salary protection. It also defines treason and guarantees jury trials in criminal cases and protects against bills of attainder.
Forming the basis for federal court system.
Forming the basis for federal court, right. Bill Bennett says, LOL, Fab. And John says, Nugget says, that's why I said freeing them. Right on. Bill Bennett says, I guess I'll just do what I'm told. What are you talking about? You were told to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Mabel says, if you use the drugs as an excuse for self-defense, then again, why not Mexico? Trump does claim self-defense, but again, I cannot get past this.
Because
I'm not using that for any kind of defense. I'm just telling you what I've heard. Whether it's right or wrong, that's what seems to be going on.
Trump gives Mexico ultimatums, and Mexico eventually comes through and follows the ultimatums. That's why he doesn't attack Mexico like that.
We're in allies with Mexico. If we attack Mexico, that would be bad for America. That's my guess. And Delaware Northern Rail says, hello. Hello, Delaware Northern Rail Project. I believe UN's international law is a scam because when any other country does the same thing, nothing is said or complained about. We won't follow laws that don't represent our values. Well, Delaware, you may be under the mistaken impression that you live in a country that belongs to you. You don't. So that's the problem with that. Everything about this country is a scam on both sides. Everything about it. The best we can do is play within the rules. Right? So, within the rules, I have to pick a team. And I pick the one that best represents the way that I think. But I am smart enough to know that all of this is above my pay grade, and I'm lucky to be alive. At the end of the day, I'm still going to have to work for every little scrap of what I get. And ain't nobody going to do me any favors. So, Amy says, Mrs. Always, happy wife, happy life. Besides, you got to sleep sometimes. Right.
Hi, Delaware. Welcome.
Yes, welcome, Delaware. Hit that subscribe button if you hadn't done so already. Amy says, Bill, you are allowed to have an opinion. Yes, you are. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion, and nobody's wrong in that opinion. We're all just having a discussion here. And it is political night. That is the point, is to discuss and be hyperbolic and to push on each other. That's why we're here. Because the answer is more conversation, not less. Because good ideas rise to the top and bad ideas get pushed to the side. That's why. Delaware says, when I say values, I mean when it's something that's benefiting us for once instead of some other country's weird laws or projects. I'm Void, by the way. Oh, okay. I started making videos. Excellent. Nice to see you, Void. I have to go check out your videos. So you're new here. All right.
No, that's Void. Yeah. I can't think of the full name now.
Void.
It was Void something. But yeah, there you go. There's your Article 51 thing to read.
All right. Article 51, which was mentioned earlier, most commonly refers to the United Nations Charter and its provision on the inherent rights of self-defense against armed attack. It allowing states to act until the Security Council intervenes. Has the Security Council intervened? So they're allowed to act until that happens. So until the Security Council intervenes, it's not breaking international law.
And then it says, requiring immediate reporting of such actions. It can also refer to Article 51 of Protocol 1 to the
Geneva Convention.
Yep.
That's the Everybody Gets Along Convention.
Protecting civilians in armed conflict, or Article 51 of India's Constitution, promoting international peace.
There you go. So, as long as he reports it and nobody steps in from the Security Council to tell him he can't, he can. That's legal. That's the interpretation I give. I'm not a lawyer, nor am I a Constitution scholar. But from reading that, sounds to me like he's well within his rights to do whatever he wants to until the big guy says, hey, calm down a little. Amy says, hi, Delaware Northern Rail Project, or Void. Interesting name. It's like a historical society or something. Yeah, that's Void. Void Adventures, or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Void Adventures.
Put his channel in the chat so people can go check out. He said he started making videos. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Boy, my ass is swollen. Rawhide. Bill Bennett says, why does this conversation feel stressful? LOL. How about those Yankees? It's not stressful. Why? Is because this is a political night. The name is in the top. Politi-tics. Politi-tics. I named it as such because it is aggressive by its very nature. The whole point of this night was to talk about things that are uncomfortable amongst friends. We're all friends here. We all love each other, and we're all going to be friends at the end of this. But we get to push against each other's ideas because good ideas rise to the top and bad ideas get exposed and pushed to the side. That is the answer. That's what the Constitution was intended to do, is set that in motion. Now, for whatever reason, our country has clammed up on the freedom of speech thing so much so that everybody's scared to voice their opinion. I'll have none of that. When you come here, you get to say what you feel, and you might get argued at. But it's going to be civil. It's going to be a discussion, and we're going to actually get to the bottom of what you're saying and not just throw out talking points. And then at the end of the night, we're going to shake hands and walk away as friends. That's the whole idea. It might not work, but we're trying. That's why it feels stressful. Don't let it stress you out. This is just the big boy table of the conversation. That's all. Amy says, Area 51, ET phone home. Ooh, wait, that's Article 51. Yeah, different 51. Delaware says, no, it's a little project I'm doing in a video game. Nice. I shelled out $150 on DLCs alone to make everything possible. But this guy's content is better, and I'm not trying to steal views. I hear you, buddy. But I love you. And if getting views will help you out, I'm more than happy to shout out your channel and get somebody over there watching it. Amy says, how about those Hoosiers, Bill? Woot woot. Hoosiers. And Mabel says, it's Politi-tics night. People, don't take it personally. Right. And there's no reason to stress. We all have different opinions and knowledge, and we learn from each other. Exactly. And we push against the idea that we know everything. And sometimes you get humbled in a conversation. That's the nature of conversation. You learn, and you learn that you don't know everything. So that's a beautiful thing, actually. Amy says, nice, Delaware. And Bill Bennett says, IU football. I'm glad you do. And Fab Daddy says, 2 and 5, my cyber friends stream. Y'all later. See you later, Fab Daddy. Too hot?
Not Fab.
Can't take the heat. Now we're going to start pulling out articles and documents. We can't be having all that. Oh, what the hell? Let's talk about sausage. You want to talk about sausage? Amy says, have a great night, Fab. Thanks for your insight tonight. Lady B's here. She says, hey, family. I hope everyone had 3 great holidays. Love you all. I hope so, too. What is the third one? I only know of 2. Unless you're talking about Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good holiday season, too. Amber says, good night, Fab. Amanda says, hey, Lady B. Amy says, Lady B, hug tackle. Bill Bennett says, sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Everybody's looking for something.
9:51.
Thank you. I got there just in time. Sweet dreams and prayers, Fab. Amy says, welcome back, Lady Biker. We missed you. Delaware says, I believe that if we jail politicians against who are ending any government shutdowns, no matter what party, Republican or Democrat, every nurse that can't get paid charges for attempted murder. I hear you. Lady B says, Lamau, Amy, arms are out to catch you. Mabel says, in his own public statement, he said himself that the U.S. would run and control Venezuela for the time being, which is why what happens next is most important. Okay, well, I haven't heard that speech. I don't doubt that he said something like that. But you also have to remember it's Trump we're talking about, and he's always given the big ask. He always says something outlandish and then does something reasonable behind it. And this trips a lot of people up. Trust me, he does do that. I'm not making excuses for the guy. That is his modus operandi. And he always says something really crazy and then works his way back to something reasonable. And the reason he does that is because he gets the best position along the way when he finally does give in and do what's right. It's called The Art of the Deal. It's in his book. That being said, he can't run Venezuela. He's not the Venezuela's government. He can run America. He can't run Venezuela. If he does, that's a crime. That falls under the Treason Act. You can't do something for another country against this one. You can't do that. It's against the law. Lady B says, I missed you all too, hearts. Amber says, Lady B, missed you, hearts, and smiley faces. Lady B says, Amanda, wave your hand. Amy says, everyone is talking politics, but Amy is thinking about butterflies and squirrels and wondering where the beef loaf is, or where the bread loaf went. Amy, it's probably in the bread cupboard. Will he transfer power? Yes, he will. That would make all of this right. But if he keeps control or even inserts a puppet leader, then there is no way about it. It would be illegal and extremely wrong. And I agree with that. I agree with that, but I would also say let's not judge the man for what he has not done yet. Let's wait until he does it before we go calling him a criminal. He's liable to say anything. Well, saying things aren't against the law. Doing things are. Amy says, puppet leader, someone has a hand up their butt. Yeah, more often than you'd think. That guy that runs Ukraine, by the way, is a puppet leader. He was a comedian before he was the president. I know quite a few puppet leaders. We've had a few of them in this country. The last president was a puppet leader. Obama's hand was up his butt. The Lady B says, yeah, Amy, I forget this is Politi-tics night. I still love being here. I love being here too. That's the whole point of it. Amy says, maybe that's why the Muppets have bulgy eyes from the hands in their arses. Maybe. It is not unlike the Americans, says Mabel, to stage coups and inherit their own leadership. We have seen this in history. Yes, we have. And when I say Americans, I mean the government, not the people. Yeah, that's obvious. Right. We get that. And Delaware says, they should do like the French. If they turn out not to like the person they put in, they actually have a reason, and they disappear in a public fashion if they resist arrest in any physical way. Like the guillotine. Let them eat cake and so forth. I don't know if we should do that or not. Bill Bennett says, you said Muppets, LOL. I'm watching Jeff Dunham. Great timing. Amy says, ha ha, Bill. Amanda?
I don't know where I'm at.
9:56.
I love Jeff Dunham. Peanut's the best.
Oh. Amy says, I like that guy, Bill. He's hilarious. Bill says, Trump giving the Venezuelan peeps back their country. The VP they chose is going to be in command. I hope so. And I hope it works out well for them, too. I don't wish any ill will against the Venezuelans. Amy says, jalapeno on his stick. And Debbie says, Mabel, what country other than the United States does our government control? Bill Bennett says the U.S. controls our continent. Mabel says, Debbie, look up United States coups, and you will find a list of CIA and Special Forces operations throughout the 1900s. Amy says, strange, we're actually talking politics on Politics Night. I know, right? It's almost like what I put in action is starting to work. It may or may not. We'll see. Debbie says, I understand that, Mabel, but you said we control other countries, and I would like to know which ones. And here's Delaware's channel. If anybody wants to go by and hit subscribe and show him a little bit of love, I'd appreciate that. He's a good watcher of the show. Show him a little love. Amy says, I subscribe, Delaware. And Mabel says, no, I did not say. And no, I did not. I said staged coups and inserted their own leadership, meaning giving preferred representatives a hand up. When speaking of control, I spoke specifically of Venezuela currently. Yes, we do that. There are quite a few countries in the Middle East that we westernized, that we took over and turned in. It's called regime change. And we put in leaders. Yasser Arafat was one of them, and then we did some pretty nasty stuff to that guy. Look up how he died. But there have been many regime changes done by our country. And Debbie says, Mabel, what makes you think the United States wants control over Venezuela? That is a good question, and the answer to that would be oil. Just the same reason we went into Vietnam. The thing you got to understand is that our dollar used to be backed by gold. It was on a gold standard. And Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard and put us on the petrodollar. Well, that petrodollar is where our money was backed from that point until 2024. And in 2024, the contract for the petrodollar was up. And as I've stated a few times on this channel, I have heard nothing about what happens next. Did they renew the contract? Did they put the money on some other kind of standard? I have not heard. But it's good news that we're fighting for oil. That means the gold standard, the oil is still the standard for the money. That means that the dollar bill is not going to lose value if we're fighting wars over oil. That's what that means. So the answer to that question would be oil. It's in our interest to have a leader in Venezuela that is sympathetic to the United States. We're not going to run Venezuela. They're going to run Venezuela, but the guy that's going to be in charge of Venezuela is going to be friends with the United States so that we can get some of that oil. That's the whole point. That's my guess. Amy says Venezuelan food is delicious. I wouldn't know. I've never eaten there. Hang on. Maple says, Debbie, I'll link Trump's very own statements if you like, or if you want. I already quoted what he himself said several times. And Lady B says, Debbie, heart. And Debbie says, Mabel, you do understand President Trump is sarcastic and never wanted Canada as the 51st state, even though he said it many times. This is true also. Again, I've said he asks for the big thing, the outlandish thing first. He always says something ridiculous and then works his way back to something reasonable. I don't doubt that he said that. I haven't heard him say that, but I don't doubt that he did. I've heard him say some pretty outlandish stuff. At one point, he said we were going to take over Greenland, too. You see how that turned out. We don't even talk about it anymore. But you can bet a deal was made with the United States and Greenland. Now, I suspect the same thing is going to happen between the United States and Canada and the United States and Venezuela also, because that's how Trump rolls. That being said, I really don't know what the future holds or how it's going to turn out. I know what I think it's going to be, but I'm not really in charge, so whatever happens, happens. Amy says, I don't know if you can link something without a wrench, but please try, babe. Lady B says, I love me some Trump, a Republican until my last breath. Amen. Pair 7777 says, deranged Drumpf will get control over Venezuela. You are an idiot. So, welcome to the show. Lady B says, amen, Jake, on Venezuela. Amy says, Lady B, that's where we differ. I don't claim either party. Same bird, different wings. I love my country and want it to succeed. American prospers. The world does too. I agree with that statement. I am not a Republican. I am a conservative, but I'm not a Republican. For very obvious reasons, because they are all over the place, and I'm not. Thank you. Debbie says, President Trump also said that he wanted to buy Greenland, see? President Trump is an epic troll, and people fall for it every time. They do that. And I would like to caution that from this day forward, because he does say things like that. And I'm not defending that he said it. I don't doubt that he said it. But there's always some reason pragmatic why he said it. I've never heard him say or do anything that didn't end up being reasonable. Lady B says, Jake was talking about sausage. Pigs in a blanket sounds good at this late hour. It does kind of. Please like, subscribe, share, support, join, and if you can, I appreciate that. Mabel says, just look up Trump Venezuela. The very first results that show up are mostly about Trump's statement on running Venezuela. Well, also be cautious on what the source is. If it is a Democrat source, you can bet they've spun it. And also if it's a Republican source. My guess would be you need to actually watch the footage of him saying it uncut. Maple says, I did post the link, but I don't know if anyone sees it. Yeah, I don't think you can post a link if you don't have a wrench. I apologize about that.
No, but I think I got the one in there that she wanted or she's talking about.
Okay, well, post it.
I did.
Amy says, Trump isn't perfect, but he loves this country and the American people. I agree with that statement also. Nugget says, I wish Britain had Trump instead of all these clowns we have now. Yeah. The whole world has gone a little bit batty. And in every leader, every country, there seems to be the same kind of leaders. And it does need to stop. Amanda says, you can't post a link, Mabel, only the mods can, but I will look for it. Lady B says, thank you, Amy, Jake, and Amanda, for my Christmas card. I appreciate y'all thinking of me. Absolutely, Lady B. I hope you had a great Christmas. Amy says, I don't see the link, Mabel, but I appreciate the attempt. I think Amanda got it. Lady B says, did you three get yours from me? We did. Amy, we are texting. I know you got your card. We did. We got it. It's hanging up on the wall right there. Amy says, Lady B, thank you for the conversations over text. And Mabel says, Debbie, I understand the sarcasm and the satire and all of that. Have you met my husband? LOL. I get that. But there are times, and you can see very clearly when Trump is joking and when he is serious. And Amanda says, here's the link that we think she's talking about. Y'all go check it out. I would play it, but I would definitely, I've already lost half the video, so I'm definitely not making any money. I don't want to get copyright claim too, so we'll just move on past that. Lady B says, I agree also, Amy. I love our country. I just miss how things used to be before illegal aliens invaded it. And lots of crime and mostly illegal aliens. Yeah, well, there have been good times and bad times. It's been the best of times and the worst of times. Tale of two cities. The shining city on the hill and the one we got now. But here we are, trying to get by. And we should probably be talking sweet Jesus is dead, says Bill. Well, that's tomorrow night. We live in the world, too. We got to talk about that also. Mabel says, I can't click on it or copy it or anything, so I'm not sure. You can't even click on it? I just clicked on it. It might be a phone thing. I don't know. Try pressing your finger on it and holding it there for a second. I don't know if that'll work or not. But I just clicked on it from a computer and it worked. Debbie says, President Trump is a lot of things, but stupid is not one of them. He says a lot of things, and then he does what is lawful. I agree with that. Trump is definitely an acquired taste, and he's definitely hard to follow. But if you're following, you'll note that he does a lot of silly things. He says a lot of crazy things. And then he does a lot of very good things that end up working very well for our country. So I'm paused to give him reasonable doubt. That's the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying. Benefit of the doubt. Amanda says, it's the Fox 58. It's the Fox 58-minute video, Babel. The first one in the search. And Lady B says, I love you bunches, Amy. And Bill Bennett says, has it ever worked out where we tried to make a country like ours and never will work? No, it's never worked. Especially when we go doing it in countries that are diametrically opposed to everything we stand for, like over in Iraq and Iran and all those places. Now, it ends up being more trouble than it's worth. That don't stop them from trying, though. Amy says, amen, Bill. Jesus flipped a few tables and saved the world with his sacrifice. That's right. Whew. Lady B says, Bill, prayers. Pravabantan? How do you say that? They should put it on Bitcoin. They should put what on Bitcoin, Prob? Welcome to the show. Amy says, welcome, Prob. Lady B says, I agree, Debbie. Trump is a very smart man. And Bill Bennett says, next is digital currency. Biblical, you know that already, don't you? Yes, I do know that. Yeah, we're going digital pretty soon. We're going one world government pretty soon. We're going one world religion pretty soon. And we're going AI God pretty soon. It's going to happen. Debbie says, isn't making allies for the United States the ultimate goal? Sometimes. I would think. And Amy says, Prob, sorry about misspelling your name. Welcome, and please like and subscribe. What it is, what's up? He says, Mexico's next. Nah, Mexico's an ally. We're not going to attack them. Especially because the guy that runs that country is our guy.
You mean the girl that runs that country?
Did they change?
Last I heard, it was a female running Mexico.
All right, well, they may have changed. The last guy that ran the country was our guy, so I don't know who this female is. It's been a while since I paid attention to Mexico. Lady B says, Jake LaMal. Smiley, dead smiley. Love it. Right on. Amy says, hey, what it is. And what it is says, hello, Jake and Amanda, and to all Untethered Live. Hello. Nice to see you. Welcome to the show. I hope you had a good New Year's. Amanda says, hi, what it is. And what it is says, hello, Amy. Is Aaron still here or did he pass out?
I think he might have passed out.
Aaron, wake up. Lady B says, what it is. Happy New Year's 2026.
I like Aaron's thinking.
I got to make a living, so I got to do my thing.
I know.
What it is says, cornbread and buttermilk. Sounds good to me. Yeah. Cornbread, yes. The buttermilk, no. Bill Bennett says, he said it. You have to know Trump the way he said it. Lady B says, yummy what it is. Bill Bennett says, I feel he has good intentions, Trump, even if he has self-interests first. Well, I think he loves this country. I think he loves the people, and I think he's earnest when he says he wants to put America first. I also think that there's some shady ways that you have to go about doing that. I also think that the country is not simply ran like we think it is. I think we have a very idealistic way of thinking about things, and the way that it works on the top tier is way different than the way it works down here. So I think that there's going to be some things we disagree with in order to get to the end goal of what we want in the long run. And I think there has to be compromises along the way, such as the Epstein files. You can't really play in the sandbox if the sandbox is gone now, can you? I kind of see that point too. I don't agree with it, but I kind of see it. I mean, if everybody that was involved in what was going on with Epstein got arrested, we would be in free fall. And there would be no country, and the leaders would be in chaos, and the vacuum would cause all kinds of people to come in, and we can't control any of that, and it would be chaos. That's not a good thing. The whole house of cards would fall. So I can understand why stepping away from that bomb might be a good idea. I don't agree with it, but I can understand why. Lady B says, agreed, Bill. Heart. Never Must Music says, I stay away from all news. What happened? Well, if you stay away from it, nothing happened. Why are you here? This is a newsy channel. Sort of. Aliens have taken over the world. Hitler's come back from the moon. Men or women. Ladies can vote. You know, typical stuff. Bill Bennett says, thanks for the Christmas card. You're welcome, sir. God bless you. What it is says, how many presidents have you seen that made things happen like this in a year's time? I've never seen that. I've been alive since Ford. That's quite a few presidents that I've seen. And only one of them have done anything close, and that was President Reagan. And I think Trump has surpassed Reagan in getting things done. Nugget says every country should want the best and prosper for their country. I agree with that too. And when you're having friends in multiple countries, sometimes that can be a conflict of interest in how you feel about things, because every country might not have the same alignments in mind. So I could see why that would be a problem too. But you gotta be worried about what your country's doing. Mabel says, it is a problem with mobile, I think. I trust Amanda found the one or similar one from a trusted source. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're not trying to propagandize anybody here. We're just trying to look at what's real. And we stay away from CNN and stuff like that. Fox News, cable. Amy says, hi and never must music. Welcome, and please like and subscribe. I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but there's a lot of consonants there, and I can't barely see it. Looks like Never Nost's music. Hang on, my chat jumped. I got it. Mabel says, if it is 58 minutes, then it is the full thing, so that will do. Exactly. That's what we look for, the full, in context, whatever was being said. I don't like clipping things because you can take that out of context very easily. And Mabel says, thank you again, Amanda. Absolutely. Amanda says, anytime, Mabel. And Never says, just curious what happened. Oh, we're just talking about Venezuela at the moment. And Trump and his handling of the situation. Never says, was hoping for an explanation of what? What do you want an explanation for? And I'll give it to you, best I can anyway. What it is says, if you notice, America only gets what it needs to hear as far as what's going on in the world, and we don't hear what's going on over in Europe, and we don't hear what's going on in South America, only when they want us to know. That's true. Yes, that's called propaganda. And that's been going on since the beginning of media, and that is the media's job, is to keep us focused on what they want us to be focused on. That's called bread and circuses. Because while we're focused on all of that, they're over here doing things that we have nothing to do with or any knowledge of. And that can be bad, but that's the way the world works. Amy says Venezuela was bombed by the U.S. and the president was taken into custody. And that goes to Never Nost's music. What it is says, want us to know. Right. Debbie says, my vote for Trump was not a love letter to Trump. It was a vote for America first policies. Amen. Same was mine. Patty says, Gog and Magog, pretty soon too. Yes, ma'am. That's coming. You can believe it. John says, in Britain, they're rolling out digital ID for newborn babies. It's crazy shit. Yes. Yes, it is. And that's coming here too at some point. Never says, oh, what? That's right. That's what's happening. Lady B says, I love the fact that Trump has never smoked or drank. And his older brother was an alcoholic. His older brother told him, don't touch this stuff, and Trump honors his brother's wishes and doesn't smoke or drink. I agree. Bill Bennett says, spread the channel. That's right, spread the channel. Go tell all your friends about it. I got you, Patty. I know what you're talking about. It's coming. What it is says, AI God, explain, please. If you read Revelations, you'll find out that long about the time of the tribulation, which we are firmly in at the moment, comes this thing called the beast. And the beast takes charge. And then some things happen, shenanigans. It looks like he's killed, but he isn't. He comes back, and then he makes an image of the beast. And then the image of the beast takes over. That's in Revelations. And that's AI. However you want to cut it, that's what that is. The image of a man. The false reality of a being that will rule the world is AI. You got another candidate? Tell me I'm wrong. Read Revelations and then apply the word AI where you see image of the beast and tell me I'm wrong. Amy says, the Venezuelan president, I hope that helps. Never nots. And Never Not says, thanks. You're welcome. Amy says, good night, Patty. I love you. Did Patty leave? Please come back tomorrow night for Bible study. Amen. Please do. And Patty, we do love you. I guess I missed you saying good night. Gog and Magog? No, I didn't miss you saying good night. I don't think I did anyway. Amy says, yep. Bill Bennett says, lots of peeps will look at AI as godly. Yes. They already do. You ought to hear the way they talk about it being sentient. It's not. Lady B says cornbread and sweet milk. Yuck. Gross. Amy says Aaron probably fell asleep and he's been really tired lately. I know it. Lady B says, good night, Patty. I didn't see Patty say good night. What it is says buttermilk will free your mind, Jake. Don't knock it till you try. I have tried it and I don't like it. I don't make up decisions based on whims. I try the things. I'm a show me kind of guy. If I say I don't like it, it's because it didn't agree with me. And Patty says, thank you, Miss Amy Elizabeth. Patty, are you leaving? I didn't see you say goodnight. And Lady B says, bye, Patty Hart. Patty says, Hugh Hefner did it for years, right? Amanda says, good night, Patty. I guess I just missed it. Good night, Patty. I'm sorry. Mabel says, Hitler's come back from the moon. That is where he has been all this time. Either that or Venezuela. One or the other. And that's the thing you want to look into right there. Oh, there are some rabbit holes. Believe that. And Lady B says, free your mind. And the rest will follow. Now, my mind is free, honey. And very well informed. Amy says there's a supermoon tonight. It's the closest to the Earth it's been in a while. It's giant in the sky and absolutely beautiful. Meteor showers tonight. Maybe Hannah could see it if it's clear. Yeah, they're in a good spot to see it, too. They're up high. Amy says, if it's clear night sky in your area, Mabel. And Lady B says, coyotes and bobcats go nuts on my property during a full moon. Amy says, it's a full supermoon, Lady B. Howl. Lady B says, howl straight up. Mabel says, yep, Amy, heart. Or Lady B says that. Mabel says, yep. She is waiting patiently, Amy, and we get to see the stars very clearly most nights. So she's excited to watch for them tonight, and I am allowing her to stay up very late. That's a thing you don't get to see very often, so congrats on that. I hope you get a good show. Amy says, that's awesome, and I hope she sees some wonderful phenomenons. I've seen it once in my life, a real meteor shower. I've seen a few shooting stars here and there, but a real meteor shower, only once. Lady B says 666 on the forehead, not me. It won't be a 666, honey. And it's not on the forehead. You need to reread that book. It says in the forehead. What's in your forehead? Your brain. What's in your right hand? The work that you do or the power that you hold. It is an ideology or the work that you do. That's what the mark of the beast is. The 666 is the beast, and that is the number of his name. And that particular reference was talking about Nero, because the Antichrist is more than one person over a long period of time. Patty says there's a big full moon over Tennessee right now. Well, there's a full moon over Tulsa. I hope that is shining on you. Nights are getting cold in Calico County. There's a blue northern passing through. Amanda says, Mabel, if she likes space, get her an app called Stellarium. Or Stellarium, however you say that. It's awesome and fun to work with, and she will enjoy it. And I think it's free. Amy says the Bible calls it a talking statue, but it could be translated to AI. Well, it calls it an image of a man. It doesn't call it a statue or a talking one. It calls it the image of a man, and it does say that it will say things. So I guess that is talking. But the image of a man is exactly that, an image of a man, a robot, a facsimile, a statue, whatever you want to call it. So my guess is, in order for a statue to talk, it has to have some kind of intelligence. So the statues that we make today move. They're called robots. And you put a brain in that, and you got the beast, or the image of the beast. That's my thoughts. Mabel says she has one, and she can point to the sky, and it shows her what all the stars are and stuff. That's what she's talking about. I can't remember what it's called. It's probably the same one or something very similar. Hers does that too. It shows all the stars, and it lights up the constellations and all kinds of information about the stars and where their patterns are. It's very cool. And what it is says, so it's like the man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. Yes. You got it. There's a reason that scene is in The Wizard of Oz. That's what he was talking about. The Wizard of Oz is an allegory for the world that we live in. And the yellow brick road is the corruption in which you've traveled down to gain power. And the man behind the curtain is the devil, or the Antichrist, however you want to call it. Very astute observation there, what it is. Hang on, my chat jumped. Amy says, telescope. Amanda says, where are you at, Amanda? Get on the damn, do your job.
Yeah, that's similar. This one is interactive too.
Amy says, planetarium. It's a stellarium. Stellarium. However you say that. Stellarium.
I was just looking at it a minute ago. You should see how big the moon is in it right now. It's awesome.
I'd like to go outside and see it. What it is says, I got my underwear not showing my super moon. Amy says, planetarium. Ignore that last comment. It's misspelled. That's all right. I got it. Nugget says, good night, everybody. I need my beauty sleep. I need 4 hours each year to catch up. Much love.
I need 4 years to catch up.
I need 4 years to catch up. Yeah, I hear you. Me too. I love you, man. Thank you for being here. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Amanda says,
not Nugget.
What it is says, werewolves in London. Ooh, werewolves in London. Bum, 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 bum. Amy says, good night, Big John. I'm glad you like the card. Patty says, I didn't leave yet, man. Excellent. Well, where have you been, Patty? We've been missing you like crazy. I've been worried sick about you.
Yeah, nobody's got your email or anything, so we could check on you.
You're right. How about leave me your email address? Email it to me. My email is untetheredlivestream@gmail.com. John says, Amy, it's awesome. Amy says, I saw a video where someone asked a Somalian daycare owner how to enroll their child, and they slammed the door on him. Yeah, that's that guy, Nick, whatever his name is, who exposed all of that. We've known about it for a while, but the public didn't. And now they do. And it's crazy.
Almost all of the daycares in Minnesota are fraudulent daycares for the Somalis. Yeah. It's over $200,000 a daycare that they get in for kids that they don't have.
And you pair that piece of information with all of the immigrants that the Democrats are pushing to get into the country, and you begin to understand why. Now you understand why the invasion. It's all about them dollar bills, y'all. Support things you love or they go away. Lady B says, good night, John. Prayers. And Amy says, we need more independent journalists like Nick Shirley. That's the guy's name, Nick Shirley. And Jake Johnson. I'm an independent journalist, too. I just don't give a shit. But I'm independent. Again, support what you love or it goes away. Mabel says, yes, that sounds like the same one. I think it is. And if you don't support the things you love, if you don't vote with your dollar, you see what happens. They take over. And they will take over. And they're eager to. So you got to keep people in the spotlight who are doing the good work. And the only way they can do that is you. Lady B says, your chat's about to jump. Lady B says, sorry, Patty, I misunderstood, smiley face. Patty says, Jake, what have you been doing about Live On, sir? I've learned it. I just can't sing it right now. You hear my voice cracking? I have learned your song. I just can't sing it. I'm trying to wait until I can actually crack a note or two, and then I'll sing it for you. I've got 3 other songs that I've learned for people, too, and I can't sing either one of them. You notice I hadn't been singing any. It's because I can barely talk. Amy says, real journalists like we used to have, Barbara Walters, Walter Concrete. Barbara Walters has always been a little loofy. Lady B says, Jake, step outside. We will wait. That's all right. I got a job to do. I'll check it out when I'm done. And what it is says, good night to all. Nice to see you, what it is. God bless you, my friend. Amanda.
Here's Jake's email address, UntetheredLivestream@gmail.com.
And good night, what it is. And good night, what it is.
Oh, night, what it is.
Amy says, good night, what it is. See you at Bible study. Lady B says, good night, what it is. Patty says, good night, John, from across the pond. Peace and prayers. Amy says, message retracted. Here's the email address. Amber says, smiley faces and hearts. Amy says, Amanda, I can't delete it. The incorrect email address. That's all right.
It won't let me either, Amy. It's all right.
It's gone. I can't see it.
Yeah, she got it.
Amy says, I got it. Okay. And Patty says, Barbara Wawa. Yeah, she went down and had a little fling with the guy that runs Cuba, didn't she? I kind of think that's where Justin Trudeau came from somehow. I don't know that to be true, but it sure does sound good. Amanda says,
thumbs up, Amy.
Amber says, hugs. I'm awake on Messenger. All right. Amy says, do you think we'll actually see any arrests and perp walks concerning what? The Epstein thing? No, I don't. There might be some low-level people, nobody big. And that's usually the way it goes. Some little know-it-all that nobody's ever heard of before 5 minutes ago will get arrested, and they'll blame the whole thing on them. Some little Seth Rich fella, you know. And then all of the big people will just skate right on by. They usually do. Amber says, oh, I thought I missed everyone saying bye. Nope, we're here. Amy says, mugshots on t-shirts, too. And the only one you can be sure of is if they get arrested will be Trump. Everybody will see that. And the daycare fraud. Oh, the daycare fraud. Yeah. I don't know. That remains to be seen. I don't know if they're going to do anything about that or not, or if it's just going to go under the radar like all things do. And Ilhan Omar. Yeah, Adam Schiff. I hope they get arrested. I don't think they will, though. They have already skated on by, right? Yeah, I kind of think that's the way it goes. I don't think that the big people that are involved with the big scandals, I don't think they get in trouble. They're the big people.
I think Walls is going to find himself in some serious trouble, too, if they find out he's in any deeper than he's already in with all these Somalians.
Yeah, Tim Walz might go. He's a nobody that nobody ever heard of before 5 minutes ago, too. So he might go. But you can know who ain't going to go? Our last president ain't going to go. His vice president ain't going to go. No. They'll get away with it. Any of the big names, Obama, all of them people, Hillary Clinton, they're not going to jail. You can hang that up.
And there's just too many things that keep pointing back to Tim Walz. It's just going to end up landing him in a bunch of trouble. Like the two politicians that were shot, the husband and wife in Minnesota. I mean, all that's just pointing back to Tim Walz, and it's just digging him a deeper, deeper hole. And now all this Somalia stuff.
Right. Amber says the Clinton will never go. Agreed. Amy says if they don't get arrested, more proof that it's two wings of the same bird. Exactly. Well, they're all in this club that you're not in. If you want to listen to somebody tell it exactly the way it is, listen to George Carlin. He lays it out. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. Period. And that's the way it really is. But that is the end of the chat, and it's 11 o'clock, so I'm going to bed. Thank you all so much for being politically with me tonight. I enjoyed it immensely. It's a great conversation. Keep up the great work, and we'll do it again next week. Join me tomorrow for Bible study. Please like, subscribe, share, support, and join. And leave a super chat or donate at CashApp $JakeJohnsonBand or PayPal.me/JakeJohnsonBand if you feel like taking the tension off the knuckles. I'd appreciate that very much. If you don't, that's fine, but I'll see you tomorrow night. Either way, God bless you. I love you all. Be nice when you go out into the world tomorrow and see where that gets you. Amanda says...
Niners, I'll see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Untethered Live for Bible study. Much love, y'all.
Patty says, thank you, prayers, and peace. Come on back, Patty. We love you. We miss you. And thank you for being here. And Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. Amber says, Miss Hammer, Jake, smiley faces and hearts. Amber, I love you. Debbie says, good night, y'all. Sweet pickle dreams. Pickly, pickly. Patty says, and I love you too, by the way. Amy says, awesome show tonight. I appreciate everyone's input and on the topics. Yes, that's the way Politi-tics is supposed to be, and I appreciate it, and it was great. And we're going to do it even better next time. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Oh, good night, y'all.